Welcome to another episode of Dream Rides. It has been, it's been too long, hasn't it?
Far too long. And like you were saying earlier, when you came last time, it was cold.
Yep.
And then it's been cold today for you,
It's,
right?
it's happened again. What we did is we let all the good weather go by, and now we've come back up to ride in the cold again. But boo-hoo, because we've gone a full circle. The very first Dream Ride we did was Chris's Dream Ride.
Which was the 998R.
998R, which was a boyhood dream for me, which, still gives me goosebumps thinking about that bike. But a close second has always been the 748 for two reasons.
What's that?
Because I know you've got lots to say about these bikes, but firstly, it was on our fridge throughout my teenage years, because my mum did one of those old Ducati ladies track days that they used to do, and she rode a 748.
Wow.
And so we had a 748 cut out of Bike Magazine and stuck to the fridge for years, and it was a yellow one. And secondly, they're really good value. They're always less money than the 916, 996, 998. And I've always been interested to see if actually they've still got that same buzz, or if they're actually a bit wet. That was my concern. So, but this one's the R, which is a bit of a special model, isn't it?
Very special model. R obviously for racing. I mean, most of these as well, they're actually red. And they estimate about 2,700 of these were actually made, the R's. There's only 750, again, estimated that they were actually in red. So most of them were actually Galileo yellow, which I absolutely love. I think it looks amazing. And it's the tamborini shape, which everyone absolutely adores. And I just think it looks beautiful, and there's not any stickers on it really, just the 748 on the side and the Ducati on the tank, and it's all less is more sometimes.
Which, when you think this was out next to, there's one over there somewhere, GSXRs, and they couldn't have been more different.
That's
GSXRs, every tracksuit coloured sticker they could find, which we love in their own right.
Of course.
But this really stood out back then.
Very much so, and Italian Exotica at its absolute finest. And just a beautiful machine, especially with the Termi carbons on as well. They sound absolutely awesome. Not the easiest of things to ride. I mean, I'm 6'4", so I actually struggle with these because obviously they're quite a tight bike to ride, quite uncomfortable. It's really on you as well. Heavy clutch. If you've got a bit of a tummy, it's not the right bike to ride. Put it that way. It's made for the little Italians. It surely is.
Well, look, I absolutely cannot wait to get out for a spin on this thing. It could cost me, because if I find out I love them just as much as I love the big ones, I will definitely be shopping. But
we've actually got two yellow ones. This is obviously the earlier model with the Showa suspension. On the newer ones, they came with the Olin suspension, and you actually see quite a few differences. The other one we've got in the other showroom has got the slab side panels, which is the same as the 998, which they brought out. So there is quite a lot of differences in them all, but it's an absolute minefield telling you every single bit.
Yeah, there is a million. You were saying earlier, some of the little things like the plaque on the headstock.
That's right. Yeah.
There's a million things that everyone goes, oh, well, my 748R had this. And you're like, yeah, but if it was built on a different day.
And when you ride this bike as well, you'll find the mirrors are absolutely useless, but they look nice.
They do look nice.
160 miles an hour it'll do, around that figure, 190 kilos in weight, and 110 brake horsepower. And obviously, just look at it, it's just an absolute thing of beauty. I love the Moschini wheels and the single side swinging arm. It's just an absolute piece. It's one of those where you open your garage door, you walk into your garage and you just go, wow, I'm excited to ride this. What a beautiful bike, which you will find out.
Yeah, and this particular one's got 3,500 kilometers on it.
Yes.
which I'm gonna add to that today, but not too many. Enough talking. We want to hear this thing sing.
Let's do this.
That is a glorious, glorious noise. I had high hopes of this 748. I've never ridden a road going one. I've ridden a very special 748 in the past, which belonged to Sarah Jordan of Steve Jordan Motorcycles, and that was epic. But
I was always worried that a stock 748 was going to be a bit slow. I mean, this one's an R, so it's had a head start, but it's not felt slow at all. It's felt like an absolute joy. It's great because it comes from that era of bikes that were, well, frankly, difficult to ride. Yeah, the bars are super low, length right forward, the clutch is, yeah, it's heavy, especially in traffic. The gearing's tall, so riding in and out of town it's a bit of an ordeal, but it's kind of part of the ceremony with it. It's part of the excitement. This one is an absolutely stunning example as well. 3,500 kilometers on it. It rides so sweet. It's stiff, it's lumpy, it's unforgiving, which is everything I want from a classic Ducati V-twin. You don't ride one of these to have a easy, smooth riding experience. You ride it for all those flaws that you call character if you love it, or you call faults if you don't love it. There's definitely something to be said as well for old school simple bikes. Nice direct throttle, nice direct brakes, no ABS, no traction control, no quick shifter. Look at the switch cube. It's just those 4 buttons that we're all used to. I don't have to go hunting for the indicators. Everything's just where I want it to be. A joy to ride, and it rides different. There's a little bit more to it. You can't just rely on this big wall of torque out of a tight corner. You've got to carry speed through the corner, work the engine hard and rev it. And then on the way into the corner, where a 998 would, the minute you shut the throttle, go roar and stop, this thing runs on and carries corner speed through, which is quite addictive. It's got no steering lock, tall first gear, and a heavy clutch, and a lumpy bumpy idle. It is not a bike for doing U-turns on in front of people, but it is a bike for finding a road like this and just that sound in the corners is quite interesting. It's exactly what everyone says about these bikes. You know, it tips over fine, but then you kind of really have to drag it round. It doesn't want to dive into an apex. You've got to make it go there. I've been mucking around. It's quite painful. I've been sort of chucking it down the gears and backing it in, sliding around. It's properly good fun.
The videos we do here at Bike World, they happen because of the support and help and belief from a few companies that get behind us. B-Moto Insurance, a sponsor of the show. The thing they do really well is specialist bike insurance, which is kind of why this bike specialist thing works so well with that partnership. Any one of these specialist bikes in here, you can phone the guys at B-Moto, they'll know what you're talking about, and they'll help you get the best insurance, whether that's for looking after it when it's laid up in the living room on display, or being sent out around track days and used in the manner it should be. I'm just going to have a moment, just a little moment. There, I'm done. Got something on your face. Here you go. It's okay. I have to admit, I am a sucker for these things. I've said it so many times, it's boring, but they were the poster bike for me as a kid. I had RC30s on the wall, I had Fireblades on the wall, I had R1s and GSX-Rs, but the bike for Kid Chris was 916s, 748s, and all of the variations therein. I've always been nervous about riding a 748 on the road in road trim. You know, the R's the best one of the lot, with the good engine and the high lift cams and all the fancy stuff. But I was still nervous because I was worried it was going to be flat. I was worried it was going to be a bit gutless and lack that proper V-twin stomp that made me love riding the 998s so much. But I was wrong. I was wrong to be worried, because it's not. It's brilliant. It is, without a doubt, different to the 998, 916, 996. It's a different riding experience. It sounds very similar, big booming V-twin, but it feels much freer revving. And that's both ways, when you open the gas and when you shut the gas. 2 or 3 times I was roaring along, closed the throttle to roll into a corner, and it was like a 2-stroke going into the corner with way more speed than I expected, which made it a bit more of a flowy, two-strokey feeling riding it on the road. It didn't feel like the normal big V twin where you shut the gas and the thing stops immediately. That combined with the fact that you had to rev it a bit, so you were up and down the gears, singing it out, it made it a very different but very addictive riding experience. It's not got that same hit of the big V twins, but I actually enjoyed riding it just as much because of the way it is. I love the fact that it comes from an era where motorbikes were a bit difficult to ride, and this is no exception. It's fiddly, it's finicky. You know, you've got to get it, keep the revs right. You've got to use loads of clutch, and the clutch is really heavy, and the steering lock is terrible. The mirrors you can't see anything in. You know, it's uncomfortable. The bars, it's not a bike that's kind of tamed down in any way. It's completely unapologetic. It's rough, it's lumpy, it's uncomfortable, and it's brilliant. And I think that's just everything you need to know about people like me and probably you lot watching this video. Those of us who like classic bikes, classic sports bikes, there is definitely something wrong with us, because this is stiff, hard work and unforgiving, and I couldn't have been happier riding it around today. I love the fact that you have to wrestle with it. I love the fact that it's difficult and finicky. That for me is part of the joy of riding it. No, I wouldn't look forward to commuting 3 hours to work on it every single day, but actually if you said, go and ride that to World Ducati Week in Italy, I'd do it, because it would be an ordeal. It would be exciting and special and difficult and awkward, and that's what makes motorbikes like this special. So if you're looking, like I always am, at 916s, 748s, I would say have a look at some 748s, because it might not have the big power figure of the bigger brother, but it is every bit as special for me. Other people might have different opinions, but I rode this today and had an absolute blast, and it ticked all of those happy crisp boxes of big boomy V-twin, the styling, the feel, the shape, and the whole experience of riding one of these proper 90s Ducatis. Arguably the bike that made Ducati great. Loved it.